here. I'm here.
Awesome. So let me quickly do that introduction because I want to do that introduction. He's somebody who I've been privileged to, know and work with. He's my boss. I think it's okay to say that he's my boss. I think you can see the heart of a person from his actions. He's really good at heart, right? You can really tell, right? He's a very humble, kind person, right? And if you get to know his job portfolio, which is the head group of group information technology of Raffles Education across multiple countries, multiple schools. He holds that portfolio, and he's also a very, very experienced tech enthusiast. Mention any area of technology, I'm sure he has been there. You know, without further ado, let's welcome Mr. Rotimi Afelumo Abiodun. He's going to be talking about leveraging digital and tech skills to secure gainful employment and a successful career in this digital age, right? Because it's important. We've talked about the mindset and all that. Now let's talk about technical skills. Thank you very much, sir.
All right. Thank you, EDK. Good af good afternoon to everyone, and it's a privilege to be here. I think I must first commend Ugonna. This is the first time I'm meeting her or seeing her, if she's still online. I was really blown away by your presentation. There are a lot of things I really learned. I joined towards the tail end, but I really enjoyed myself and all of the nuggets, successful nuggets that you churned out to everyone. And then David and I go way back. We've been together since I think when we were both 11 years old. We grew up in the same area and we've been doing a couple of things together. So today, as EDK have rightly said, my name is Rotimi Afelumo. I currently work. Um, I have two offices. I work in Malaysia and Singapore. So I shuttle those two countries almost 2 or 3 times a month, and then I oversee um, technology in 18 campuses across 9 countries. So I'm the group head of information technology, Raffles Education. Raffles Education is a Singapore-based education provider with 18 campuses in 9 countries. So I oversee all of that. Today, I'm privileged to talk to you guys about something very critical, something very important, and I think something that is very key to almost, not almost, to every industry around us. All right, so can you share should I share my screen or you'll be projecting the slides so that I can go quickly? So there are a couple of slides I
Well,
have.
if you
Sorry?
can, if you want to share, it's fine, but I can also share. If you want to
Yeah,
go
just
first
share.
now.
Just share it.
Okay, thank you.
It's fine. All right, so I would speak a little from my slide. We'll just run through it, but I want to focus mainly on I'll tell you practical stories, and most of the principles that I will be discussing are things that I have worked with as a person, and are things that some of them I've not really given myself to, but the little that I have given myself to have produced results, and I think it will be good for you at this level and at this stage as both speakers have spoken. You guys still are young. You have the ability to pivot to whatever you want. It is not too late to do anything. And by the way, I studied, okay, you know the way they used to say it. I was given physics. I wanted to study engineering, but I got physics. And all my life, working, I've never used my physics in as my physics certificate to do anything. I pivot into technology from my service year, and that is why it is very important. All through my years in university, my first computer I bought during my service year because of some of the principle I'll be talking to you about friendship. Ugona mentioned relationship. This this path that I have taken, I found myself is predominantly based on relationship. A relationship set me on that path. And that's why relationship is very key. So I'll be talking about leveraging digital and technical skills to secure gainful employment, carving out a successful career, and making impact in the digital age. Next slide. So, next slide. Uh, PDK, I think. All right. So, I think I'll just share my screen. I think it's better for me. Just let me know when you are able to see my screen. I'll share my screen. All right. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, we can see as well.
All right. All right. So that we can go faster. All right. So I'll just talk about um, a little bit about this, whatever you've seen here. This PowerPoint will be shared with all of you guys. So my intention today is to inform you, to inspire you, and to initiate something within you as you progress. Some of you already know most of the things that I'll be talking about, but I would like to speak to it from personal experiences and stories. I'm a Christian, and so some of the principles, most of the principles that undergirds my life and my decision are stories from the Bible, and I'll be relating a few of that in my presentation. So, first of all, at the top of it, technology cannot replace humans, but anyone that cannot use technology will most likely be replaced in almost every field of work. The technology is a driver of every field that we find ourselves in. It's shaping our world and how things are done on a daily basis. So with this presentation, we'll talk a little bit about trend in technology, the future of work, how to position yourself effectively, and then different learning opportunities. Not everybody will be a tech enthusiast. You don't have to be a core technology guy, but certainly everyone, and I mean everyone, would use one form of technology or the other in whatever field that they found themselves. And that's why it is very critical. So the world of work is changing. Everything around us is changing from uh, every dispensation of work, the agricultural revolution, the mechanization revolution, every 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 shift that we've had in every stage of human development has been has been precipitated by one form of technology or the other. One, it was automobile, it was industrialization, agriculture, um, internet, every industrial revolution that we've experienced down history has been precipitated by one form of technology or the other, the introduction of one form of technology or the other. So technology is shaping everything: artificial intelligence, automation, robotics, and all of those things. Some jobs will be lost, but you can be sure that more jobs will be created. When technology comes in, jobs will be lost, but more jobs will be created. So, for example, I give you a perfect example. Before, you used to have security guards everywhere. You have estates that have hundreds of security guards. But now, you can just put cameras in every blind spot and get one security guy that sits in a control room. So every other security guys might lose their job, but one more job is created, or multiple value chain of job has been created. Camera, the people that will install it, the people that will fix it, then the people that is able to, sit in front of camera and read and monitor. So with every job lost by technology, as a result of technology, more jobs are created. And so that the responsibility now lies on you to know how to pivot, how to quickly adapt and assimilate or find yourself in a point where you are able to integrate into the trend in every area of your field. So many jobs will cease to exist also in a few years' time, and yet many more jobs are yet to be created. Every industry that technology At every point in time in the value chain of your industry or whatever you do, where technology is successfully integrated, um, then it replaces some and then creates an opportunity for others to rise up and leverage on the new opportunities that are coming. It is in your ability to understand this trend and be able to position yourself that determines your survival, especially when you are at a value chain within your industry where technology is integrated. You will need to quickly be able to adapt, and then rise up to the new opportunities that is provided. And I'll give you personal experiences as it relates to that. In I like to say this: the readers and writers have shaped the world and industry up until now, but readers and writers of codes, technology basically, are shaping the present future. A single line of code really can change the way we do our lives. Social media has revolutionized the way we do the media industry, so to speak. From production even to marketing. You see people now, they don't even need marketers, physical marketers anymore, because social media has completely turned that around. And how did it come about? Somebody sat down and was able to write that code and develop that technology that completely changes the way we communicate, the way we relate, the way we deliver content. So technology is really shaping or has shaped and will continue to shape everything that we do. A few weeks ago, Elon Musk just launched Robotaxi, where self-driving cars, you just call it and then it comes, you get in and then it drives you wherever you want to. Um, so these are things that are here and we have to accept the fact that they are here. All right. So, in every field of endeavor and profession is driven by technology. Actually, every advancement we're seeing, name any field, any advancements in those fields are a combination of domain knowledge and technology, whereas technology drives the domain knowledge. So you see doctors, the breakthroughs and advancement in medicine today, it's sitting on advancement in technology, laser operations, and all of those technology that are coming in is a function of technology companies recruiting people with the domain knowledge and then pushing the boundaries of any field. Name any field: medicine, engineering, music industries, and movie industries. The drivers of innovations in these fields are sitting on technology. VFX in movie industries, how videos are done. Some people don't even go to locations anymore. They design the location on the computer and put green screen. All of these are technology. You can sit in your home and you see the background that I'm using now. All of this, I didn't have to do anything. So all of these are driven by technology. And that's why it's important for us to, at this stage, begin to think that what is the technology in my field, or whatever passion or whatever vision you have, you need to begin to ask yourself, what is the technology that is being used in this field so that I can leverage on it early enough and then be ahead and have an edge. These advancements are mostly as a result of tech companies recruiting experts in a specific field and producing the technology that shapes or that is shaping the industry. Adoption of technology will determine what is considered to be current or old. What you consider current or old is going to be determined by adoption of technology. Any organization or individual that does not use the technology relevant to its industry they operate in will be left behind. So that's why I emphasize for you to know the technology that is riding in your industry. Um, I started my career in educational technology in American International School in Abuja. I got in, and when I got in, there was a dichotomy between expatriates and local staff. And so I came in and And I will allude to that as we progress. But when I came in, based on some principles that I've learned as a person, I came in, I began to ask, and I begin to look at the school. What are the things that, because I see that difference in both pay package, how they are treated, the experts and the locals, and mostly the locals are the one doing the heavy liftings. So I sat down and I began to pray. There's this principle I've learned in the scripture. I call it the Zacchaeus principle. And I'm going to talk a little about it. Zacchaeus was a person that was short. He wanted to see Jesus. And when he ran to meet them, he had everybody around them were taller than him. And he must have been asking himself a question. I want to see Jesus. He could have said, he could have been struggling with the crowd. And as a short person, there is no way he will have a leverage over high, taller person. So in that organization, I knew I am black. I knew I'm a Nigerian. So I am not an expert. I am not an expatriate. I cannot compare myself with them. But I began to ask myself the question Zacchaeus must have asked himself: where is this crowd going? Where is this crowd going? And the moment he was able to find where the crowd was headed, he must have gone round and went straight to where he must have perceived the crowd was going. And when he got there, he climbed on a tree. He went ahead of the crowd. By the time the crowd got there, Jesus looked up and saw him. The crowd had to stop for him because at that point he was ahead of them. He had gone ahead, and when he went ahead, he climbed a tree so that by the time the crowd gets there, they are not even as tall as he is. I'm going to show you how practical that is, how you can relate that to yourself. Always ask yourself, where is this organization going? Where is this technology going? And so when I sat down there, luckily for me, a year before then, they had introduced a software in the school called Power School. It's a student management software. And so nobody could operate it so much. In fact, the guy that they trained was the one that left when I came in. And I came in as a network administrator because I was a networking guy. Um, I was a certified network guy. So when this guy left, so nobody. So I saw that was something that was relevant to the company, and I gave myself to it. I gave myself to it. I learned it. It was difficult. It was tough. I learned it so much that right now, if I use my fingertips on my trackpad, after a while, I begin to feel uncomfortable. Now that's why I use mouse every time, whether I'm using a laptop or a desktop. That's to tell you how much energy and time I gave to it. By the time I was so good at it that I became the de facto person that they relate to when it comes to that. And so that completely just changed the narration of my employment. The next day I got double promotion. It has never happened in that organization in the 20 years it has existed. I was the first local in the history of that organization. I was sent to the US. I sent to the US, sent to South Africa, Ethiopia, and I had opportunities. In fact, when I brought the letter of my double promotion and double pay raise to the finance department, when I went to submit it to them, I remember vividly the finance lady said, "This is not possible." She had to go to the school director to confirm. And then they said, "Yes, that's it." So I rose from uh, a network manager to assistant IT director. And so always, whatever industry you find yourself, always ask yourself, where is this crowd going? Where is this technology going? And then run ahead. Go and learn the skills. It might take time, it might cost you money, invest in it. And when you've gone ahead, don't stop there, because by the time the people get to your point, if they are taller than you, they will eventually become taller. Then climb on a tree. It might mean before your industry even gets there, it might mean you go and get a master's. It might mean you just climb up, keep going. So always leverage on that. Ask yourself that question: where is this crowd going? Where is this industry going? Where is this technology going? And then you will be able to leverage on and make a whole lot of impact. So I'll talk about what's your posture and your position. It is first to adapt. You must be willing to adapt. Then you must be willing to adopt and then to advance. Again, I will speak about some life skills as we progress, but the bane of you as an individual is comparison, comparing yourself to others. In that organization, we go to the pantry to eat every day. Everyone is complaining, but nobody's doing anything about it. But once I found that direction, that this application is critical to this organization, and I delved to it, it changed everything for me. And you will not know it as God would have it. That is the singular application that opened the door for me to move out of Nigeria to where I am, and then subsequently, because of some other networking skills and other things that I've gotten, I grew rapidly in my current application, in my current organization. Um, I'm going to talk about reference later on, but again, just ensure that you are always asking yourself that question. And the reason you're asking yourself is so that you can keep improving yourself and you can keep moving forward and keep advancing. Let me see. So the best way to prepare for the future is to learn and know what is driving it. As a Christian, you keep seeking God because you know God is the one driving your tomorrow. But in the world of in your career, one of the ways for you to advance is to know what is driving that field. And technology is driving every field. So for me, it was what was driving that industry. It was a student management system, and that student management system is used across a lot of American international schools. I could easily move around if I want to. So always seek for what is driving the industry. The best way to prepare for the future is to learn and know what is driving it. Just as you will learn to want to know God more because He knows what is happening, what the future lies. The same thing in your career. When you know that this technology is driving this industry, AI is driving everything in your little career path. If AI is if a particular technology is what is driving it, then invest in it and keep learning it. You are into movie production. If there's a particular technology that is driving it, go ahead and learn it. By the time you are better at it, others will be seeking you to do what they need you to do. As a young graduate and core member in this age, what should be your posture? Do you use technology? What kind of user are you? Are you open to using technology functionally or for entertainment? What's how do you use technology? I'm going to talk about very critical thing now, the different kind of users that we have. And it's going to shock you how, if you assess yourself, for you to know what kind of user you are, especially in the technology that is driving your field. What kind of user are you? You no longer compete locally. You should understand that technology has broken every barrier. The world is a global village now. Technology has broken every barrier. I have people that stays in Nigeria and earn in dollar because they work online. I have an in-law. He has 3 jobs. He works with Equatorial Trust Bank and in their IT department. He works for one other company as a software developer. He works for a third company as a software developer. And some of them are even not Nigerian companies. And good thing was for him was that his Equatorial Trust Bank job, I don't know if they are still the same now. His his bank job requires him to work from home. And he just puts in his daily quota and focuses on other things. He also partners with somebody to set up an online training company like what's it called? Like there's this school in Alt School in Lagos. They set up something like Alt School. So these are opportunities that you have. You are a global citizen. You cannot think that you are operating from Nigeria alone because and that gives us a good opportunity if you are very versatile in what you do. Companies in abroad, for example, as a graduate, you might be earning 500K, 600K if you get a very good job. If you happen to get a job online and they pay you $1,000, that's about 1.6 million in Nigeria. It is cheap labor, actually, for those companies. It is cheap labor. So that's why you, as Ugona and David have said, your generation, you stand a better chance to earn easily. Just be good at what you do and put yourself out there and get a job, get your pay. Any company in the US or in outside the country that pays you $2,000 to do what they will have paid their citizen 5 to 6 or $10,000, they are getting it cheap, and you are able to do it. And I know a lot of people that are doing that. So, what kind of technology user are you? There are three kinds of technology users. The great growling engine of change technology. There are three kinds of technology users, and I want you to assess yourself to gauge what type are you. They are consumers and end user technology users. And they use technology as a replacement for old way of doing things. You don't want to write on paper, you type. You don't want to go to post office, you send email. You don't want to sit in front of your TV to watch, you take your phone and watch YouTube. Um, no functional change. They are consumers, and you are. That's why you are called end user. You are at the end of it. You are at the bottom of it. When they say end user, is that you are at the bottom of the value chain, and you are the consumer, and every other person above you makes money from off of you. What you have a phone in your hands. Are you an end user or an advanced user or an enabled user? I'll tell you who an enabled user is. But whatever you do with technology, please do not be a consumer. Do not be an end user. You will never be able to advance beyond just the mundane, especially in that field. And that's why it's good for you to step up to become an enabled or a productive user. An enabled or a productive user is a user that's able to use technology to improve effectiveness and efficiency. They know how to use technology. So you're a content creator. You know how to edit your videos and put it out there. You are not just a watcher of video. So end user, you go and watch. The person that produced the content and put it out there is making money off of you, and you are not making money. So be at the least, be an enabled user, a user that is able to effectively use the technology to improve himself, to enhance his productivity, and to better his performance at the job. At the least, be that person. Be that person. Whatever technology skills you learn, don't just be a consumer. A consumer is just, okay, I'm giving a laptop. The only thing I just do my work and I meet the basic requirements of my work. No, leverage on that technology to at least be advanced, be enabled, learn to use technology effectively to improve your performance, improve your output, become more effective, become more efficient. That's at the least where you should be. Enhanced, productive user of technology. Then they are the advanced, creative, and innovative user of technology. These are the people that understand not just how to use the technology, but they understand the language of technology as to create the technology. These are the ones that are shaping every industry. You know how to write code, create platforms. Some people are even they do not own Facebook, but they are writing plugins, creating plugins and programs and other things that you can infuse into Facebook. And these are the people that are making the money and able to change everything. Mark Zuckerberg and his team change entirely the way we we communicate, and the social space. The same thing with Google, the same thing with everyone that is doing massive, that is really shaping and changing narrative and changing culture, are people that are advanced. These are the creators, these are the innovators. And you can be that person too. And that's the next level, or somewhat the highest level of technology user. That you are not just a consumer, you're not just an enabled or productive user. It's good to be that, but that you are also a creator of technology. In rounding up, I think a few things I want to mention to you as you go up: reskill yourself. Reskill means the things you've learned before, relearn it. Upskill means then you need to, that's one of the ways you can go from a consumer to an enabler. You upskill yourself. You look at where your crowd, where this crowd is going, where is this technology going? You begin to advance it. I'm not mentioning technologies this time around. I'm not mentioning whether it's coding, robotics, whatever. But every of your career paths, there's a technology that is driving it. And that's why I focus on that. Focus on that. Then there's cross skilling. You can cross skill. You're a content, you know how to create content. You can cross skill to learn how to edit your videos and do all of that. You know what that does for you? It cuts the amount of money you pay to other people to do it. That is cross skilling. You can build your own applications yourself. And if you meet any software developer, one of the biggest challenge of those software developer is in the difficulty of getting their clients to clearly define what they want. But can you imagine a doctor that also is a good programmer? He not only has the domain knowledge, but he also has the technology knowledge. So he can easily, even if he doesn't want to develop it himself, or if he can start developing it himself, but he can easily communicate his ideas to the software developer because of the knowledge in software that he has. And that is what is called, that's one of the benefits of cross-skilling. Cross-skilling also enables you move from one career path to the other. That is exactly what Ugona is doing. She left her job and she wants to do something else. She has to go learn something. She's cross-skilling herself. Your primary line of work, you want to learn, you want to move into another career, then you begin to cross-skill. It might take some sacrifices, but I think you should. It's something you need to do. Now, I want to talk a little bit about some life skills. I've talked about the fact that always ask yourself this question: Where is this? Where is this? Where is this crowd going? Where is this crowd headed? And that will always put you at the cutting edge of whatever you do in your industry, even in your office, even if it is not a technology. But cultivate habits to keep asking yourself. And the more you ask in prayers and talking to people, you will know the directions. It is he that asks that will always receive. So you will know the direction that your organization is going. I'll talk about first, work hard. You need hard work. You need hard work. You need hard work. You need to work hard. Then you need to prepare, exceed expectation. Don't always meet minimum. I just do my job. This is what is required of me. Always exceed expectation. And this is very critical. Let me give you another story. So because of my how everything happened in my that first school, they normally paid one company to, excuse me, to design applications or report cards on that software. I undertook it on my own self and I took time to learn it. And I told them, oh, you don't have to pay those guys anymore. They say, you can do it. I say, I can do it. And I spent one holiday and redesigned, learned, went to the back end, reverse engineer what all those guys did and learned it and developed it. At the end of the day, when I was going to leave, which will bring me to something else again. And let me put that story aside. So don't seek salary, seek reward. If you seek salary, you will not. And when I say seek reward, doesn't mean you are always looking for it, but let the joy of succeeding at what you do be your reward. When people pay you salary, they pay you based on what you've agreed. But reward is always more. It's always, if it's a reward, it's not something that you're expecting. So in life, always pursue that. Okay, I'm seeking reward, and when you seek your reward, and for me as a Christian, I believe my reward comes from God, and that is the basis for what I do. And I don't set, and God's standards are higher than human standards. So there is no way you try to meet God's standard that you will not exceed human standards. And that's the approach that I think you should have in life. Start small. Again, the bane of you as a person is comparing yourself with somebody else. We would always get to our destination. The time of arrival might be different, but we would always get there. So value small beginnings, value small beginnings, and pour yourself into small beginnings. Don't just say, oh, I'm looking for something big, and then you despise the days of little beginning. Because it is your performance in little things that will determine the doors that will be opened unto you. Avoid the trap of comparison. Don't seek salary against seek reward. So always start small. Believe, give yourself to the little things you're doing. Then again, volunteer. Some of us will always seek money. What is in it for me? Always volunteer. Let me give you an example. So I I finished serving in 2008. Uh, yeah, 2008. Then I got a job in Intercontinental Bank. It wasn't something that marketing. I was not a marketing guy. And after 18 months, there was a collapse of banks, and then I was laid off. And so the money I got from the bank then was around 360K. I had developed a passion for IT during my studies here. But again, life happens, you don't get what you're looking for, then you got into the bank. So I put that money in and I went to India, self-sponsored. I spent 11 months. I learned all the skills. I got certified in CCNA, CCI, CCNP, CCIP. I did CCIE, which is the advanced step. I didn't do the lab, but I was all qualified. And then when I came back, I had all the certificates, but really no field experience. And so one day, and I was still looking for a job. And I started small. I used I was, to tell you how things were, I was living in the church house. Um, Good thing my brother was a pastor, so the church has a small house. So I was living there and I was serving as the church admin. So when I came back from India and I told him that I would not go back to the family house in Kano. I don't want to go back. So he said, okay, you can stay here and do this job. So when there is no church, I would in the one of the garage of the building that is used as a student church on Monday morning, I would take my certificate, I framed it, I hang it, and then make it like an office, and I'll study. So one day, one of the guys in church works with Nigerian Navy, and then I worked with him. I went there with him to help him with one of his office. So there was a contract that was being done. They were laying the cables. They were doing the IT infrastructure of the entire five-story building of the Nigerian Navy headquarters and the defense headquarters. So I just told him that, oh, I walked up to the guys. I said, guys, I just packed up a conversation with them. I said, I would like to work with you guys. They said, we don't have to pay. I said, no, you don't have to pay me. I will transport myself here daily. I am certified in all. I am an IT guy. I've done all the certification, but I don't have the field experience. And so they say, okay, no problem. And then I began to come on a daily basis. I volunteer. You see, there is nobody in the right senses, no organization in their right sense that sees you volunteering and they see you give your best. That eventually they will not find ways to pay back. And so after like for first few days, they now started giving me transport money, and I go and come back and go and come back, and then the project was done. I got my first contract in Abuja through those guys. They had done a job with NITDA, National Telecommunication Development Agency. They had done a contract with them on CCTV cameras, and they finished it. They use wireless, but because of internet in Nigeria, they now ask them to come and do the wired, to convert it to wired. They now say, oh, can you do it? I say, yes, I can do it. And then I went to do it, and I did my first contract there. But that's not where I'm going. So eventually, when a job opportunity came and I went for the interview, it was now a practical interview. They asked some English question, what's the difference between efficiency and effectiveness, blah, blah, blah. But if one technical question they asked is, if you have a building that is 5 story tall, how will you run the cables? That was exactly what we did in Nigeria Defense. I did not even write story. I just drew it. I drew the 5 story building, put the switches, ran the cable, and I got the job. Imagine if I had not humbled myself and learned, that wouldn't have landed me in my first job. And so I did that job. That was I got the job. I was the person that was recruited. I didn't even write story. I just drew the diagram because I just did it. And these are not things they teach you in the classroom. My 11 months in India wouldn't have taught me that. So volunteer, don't always seek for money, but seek opportunity. And the first time I say work hard, prepare. Once you have prepared and you meet with opportunity, you're a success that is bound to happen. Then follow trend, talk to people. So again, that is very critical. Now, it's back to another story. The application so I got that job in ISA. I landed that application. The principal then in that school now got a job as the superintendent or the head of school in Raffles American School, one of the 18 schools that Raffles holds. And my colleague, my boss, I was assistant director, he was director. He now asked me, Rotimi, can I have your CV? That was in May, June of 2026. Both of them were leaving. He said, can I have your CV? I gave him. He said, can I edit it? I said, yes, you can edit it. I asked him for what? He said, don't worry. We went on holiday, came back in August. Then in October 2016, on a Monday morning, I just got an email in my Raffles email from this guy that was a principal that is now head of school in one school. And I said, oh, I sent you an email to your personal email. Can you check it? And then I opened it in my email and I saw he's making me an offer. You can come if you want. If you like this job, you can come around. Your family and your flight ticket and everything will be taken care of. Your children will be able to school in the school for free and all of that. And then the rest is history. I came here, and primarily why he asked me here was because the student management system that they were using here is archaic and old, and he wanted to implement Power School, and that was the application that I devoted my time to learn in that place. You see how things just cascades and takes you further. You don't know when you commit to some things, it will cost you, but those might be the path that you are taking, and that got me here. And then getting here and also asking and looking at, okay, what is happening? What is happening? What is the next thing? What is the next thing? And then COVID blew up, and then they had to go online. I had done something similar to that during an election in Nigeria, and we had gone online. Then here it happened, and before you knew it, because of I came here also a lot of things that were done normally, but because here there were resources with a lot of things to do, but the people are lazy. In Nigeria, you have less resource and you have to make everything work. So that energy and that ruggedness of working in the environment in Nigeria, I brought it here and I did a lot of things within a short period of time that the son of the CEO noticed and now spoke to somebody about this guy. And that's how they they sacked the entire IT team in the HQ in Singapore and asked me to take over. And then we did. And then COVID hit. And then I deployed the skills I had learned in Raffle in ISA about online school. I deployed it across the entire 18 countries, schools in most of the 18 countries. So again, always ask yourself when you go to a place, don't do the basics. Go always ahead and learn ahead. The last thing I would like to talk about is relationship. Ugona mentioned it. Relationship is very key. You see, my and value people, invest in people. Let me focus on the power of reference. A lot of you guys, you will put people on your document, on your CV as your reference. Your true references are not the people that you have on your CV. They are the people that carries your CV in their mind. They are the people that carries you in their mind. And the way you get into their mind is the relationship you have with them and the impact that you have made as a result of working. That is so that when they eventually get somewhere, even if you don't send them your CV and there's an opening, they'll say, I know Rotimi can do these things. That is the true reference. People have gotten better jobs with this than the references on their CV. I give a biblical example. Um, David was playing flute. He was playing flute and in the backside of the desert with his sheep and animal every day. And he gave himself to it. He will have said, why? He wouldn't have given himself to it. Again, that's why I say start small, value small beginning, give yourself to it, even if you don't think it is needed, or even if you don't think it's relevant. What he's playing, he was just enjoying himself playing harp. But one day, maybe one person, he was an audience that he never knew. One person must have seen him. And when there was an opening in the palace, the person said, I know one guy that can do this job. That is reference. And that has happened to me. My It was reference that got me the job in ISA. His name is Isaac Bankole. We were friends through, we met through a mutual friend, and we were both working together to go to India. His didn't succeed, mine succeeded, but I gave him all the help he needed. Even when I was in India, I tried to see how he can come. Then he eventually got a job in American International School. I came back, I had no job. And when that opening came, he just texted me. And I would have been an election officer. I had passed the election I passed the interview for INEC. They had sent us to our local governments to go and register because we'll be an election officer in the local government. I had went for screening when the text message came that, okay, there's an interview, send your CV. And I sent my CV. I didn't, his name was not even on my CV, but my name on my person, or me, I'm on his heart because of because of relationship. And so when that opening came in, he gave me. You won't believe that I became his boss because the position was the position for me to be his boss. And I became his boss. That's the reference. Paul Erickson was my boss there that collected my CV, edited it, and sent it to Lal Molson, who happens to be the principal. References are not necessarily the people you have on your CV, but they are the people that carries you in their heart so that whenever there's an opportunity, they call you. Another opportunity came up for me a few weeks ago. I got an email, one association I belong to, there was an opening on Power School, still the student management system, in one international school in Saudi Arabia. I wasn't considering, I wasn't serious about going, but I said, well, why not? So I now remember, oh, I have two guys that had worked here that had left, and I knew they were going to that school. They went to Saudi Arabia. So I contacted them. Are you in this school? I saw this opening. They said, oh, that immediately that job opening happened last week. The wife told me, my husband and I just talked about you when we saw this opening, and we've said, oh, Rotimi is going to be the best fit for this job. And I said, well, I'm trying to apply. So I send me your CV, do everything. Then the husband contacted me too and said the same thing, that just last week when the job opening happens, my wife and I thought about you and said, oh, this would be a good job for you. Eventually that job didn't pull through. But and again, I wasn't, because of some conditions, I wasn't also going to take it. But that just buttresses the fact that your references, your true references, are not the people you have on your CV. They can help, but they are the people that, by the reason of hard work, dedication, and professionalism, you have stamped yourself in their heart, so that anywhere they go to, even if it seems as though they forget you, they will remember. The same thing happened to Joseph in the prison. 2 years they had forgotten, but when an opening came in the palace, the guy said, oh, now I remember. There's a guy in the prison that can do this job. That is the reference you should be looking for. I'm just going to round up here and say, please be humble. Whatever you need to do, study hard. And in any career you find yourself, you can always find new things in that career. I keep asking myself again, like I told you, what's next? What's next? There's a story that keeps inspiring in the scripture. It's the story of the treasure in the field. The guy was a servant and he found the treasure on the field where he was employed to work. The question I keep asking myself is, there's this treasure in this field. The owner doesn't even know about it. Every servant that has worked in that field didn't know about it, but this guy found out. How? It must have been that he gave himself to the job. He did what others didn't do. He looked at things where others didn't look, and found treasure even in a field that he doesn't own. You can find treasures in your career, in any office where you find yourself, you can find ideas that even the employers don't have any clue about. And that's how some people have branched out from other companies to set up their own. Because while working here, they discover something in that company or in that organization that even the people that have gone ahead of them and that they are the owners, they didn't know anything about. I wish you guys all the best. I pray that you all are able to progress and advance. But the way to carve a niche for yourself is not just is these life skills, having these life skills that Ugonna talked about, that David talked about, and I've also talked about. I think that's the end of my presentation. I think I'll just stop sharing my screen, and then EDK, you can take it up.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I can attest, and I'm sure that everybody here can do the same. We have been blessed. We have been blessed. We've been impacted, right? These things are not things that you get for free, but by the mercies of God, we've been able to secure the time of these people to come and share. I've been writing so much. Talk about work hard, start small, volunteer, build relationships. Your true reference is not the people you write in your CV. It's those people who, they carry your CV in their heart so that when they see an opening, they get to connect you to that, right? Can we appreciate Mr. Rotimi, please? Can we have some comments? We have a question here quickly. I think the time is fast spent. We have a question here. Somebody is asking, what are some relevant skills, now tech skills, that you recommend that people get to learn in this time? What are some relevant tech skills that you recommend that they learn now?
All right. So, one of if at least you should be able to, first of all, what I would say is look at the industry you want to play at and see what is being used in that industry. That at least that's your first point of technological skills that you need to learn, and then decide this technology. Okay, let's say for example, you are working as an engineer, um, or maybe systems engineer, and you've seen that, okay, these are the technologies that they are using. Do I want to be able to have full understanding of how these things work so that I can leverage on that? Or do I want to be someone that is developing this technology? So, like I said, desire to be either advanced, enabled, and productive user, or desire to be advanced. Advanced is the people that are engineering the technology itself. So that's one. But in general, you can learn coding, HTML, graphic design, video editing. All of these are tech skills. Computer, knowing how to use computer. But basically, please don't just jump into anything because it is what is in vogue, but rather ask yourself that question. I am playing in this industry. What are the relevant skills or what are the technology used in this industry? Then delve into it. It could be if you are into servers or engineer, you can say, okay, I'll go into cloud, cloud provisioning of server, or even writing programs for cloud. You know, if you are a content developer, you want to go into videos, or you want to be able to design websites. And good thing is there are a lot of platforms that teaches these things, some free, some paid. But my advice would be first, as everyone has said, plan out a vision for yourself, and then look at the industry you're playing at, and then focus on the technologies and the requirements of that industry. Or if you are in a field, if you are already in an office, find out what is relevant to that office and to the career path in that office and learn it. That, alongside being able to use technology efficiently, should suffice for you as a person.
All right, thank you very much, sir. That was quite straight to the point. I think you mentioned the vision, place of the vision. and then the industry you want to see yourself, and then finding out what relevant technology is needed in that industry, so that you don't just stumble on anything that's random, and then you are not able to actually use it practically. All right, thank you very much. For some